Can I please have everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Okay. Just so everybody is aware, we're recording via Zoom. Also, WCAT 12, WCAT 6 is recording and televising us also. So everybody's aware of that. If anybody else is recording during the meeting, please let us know so we can announce it. But you are free to do so if you choose. So, all right. Do we want to wait 2 more minutes for Derek? Or?
Oh, what we do, we can go get a notebook.
Oh. Take your time. All right. Okay, you good?
Yes.
Okay, first thing on the agenda is appointment for Brandon, is it Chason?
Close enough.
What's the correct pronunciation?
Chasson.
Chason,
Yeah.
okay. Is that like French?
Yes.
Or- All right. So for Brandon Chason, to serve for 1 year on the Cable Advisory Committee per Travis Baker's request. Anticipated vote for this. All right. Mr. Baker, how you doing?
I'm good.
So you bringing a request in front of us? You
Yeah.
wanna-
So, Brandon here emailed, Karen 2 weeks ago, new resident in town, so wanted to get involved with the community, seeing we had an opening for cable advisory, so,
Very good.
we met with him, kinda gave him a rundown of everything and, everything we do with cable advisory and cable access, and still interested, so. Like to
You
have
didn't scare him away.
appointed. Yeah.
Very good. All right. Sir, do you want to introduce yourself and why you want to be on the local
Sure.
access network?
So, again, my name's Reddit. Just moved here from Worcester, bought a house out in West Warren.
Okay.
So, wanted to get involved. I don't know, I've always been a renter, so now that I'm a homeowner, I want to get to know my community.
Absolutely.
I figured it was a good way to get in the door.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty much why I'm here.
All right. Well, very good. Thank you very much for stepping up. Definitely looking for somebody to take on the role. You know, it's a lot of responsibility up there and a lot to learn. And, you know, these two are becoming the masters of it.
Yeah.
And we've been making a lot of changes over the past year or so. And, you know, having somebody learn all that is definitely probably going to give you some ability to have some breathing room
Well, a little bit,
and
yeah.
multitask probably with a couple different
Yeah,
cameras.
it's definitely gonna help out a lot, especially like when you guys have planning board and school committee same nights, it split off a little bit, or, makes it easier times that I'm not available, so.
Very good. All right. So we're doing an appointment for Brandon Chason to serve 1 year for the Cable Advisory Committee, per requested by Travis Baker. Anticipated vote. So he was just introducing himself. Travis also said some words. Do you have any questions for him?
I don't, just thank you for volunteering.
Thank you.
I echo that, thank you for, helping out.
No problem.
Okay.
You want to.
Do you have anything, Mr. Farrar?
No, I just, we'll have to go over and sign all the policies and stuff after the board votes on the appointment.
Do you have anything, Lisa? No? You sure? You don't want to talk on camera?
She's just happy I'm not the only.
She likes
person
being
she's got
behind the
put up
camera,
with.
not in front of it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do a motion.
I'll make a motion to appoint Brandon Chesson for a one-year term on the Cable Advisory Committee.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Welcome to the team, sir. And we're gonna sign it right now to make it official.
Just wait a minute.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Travis, just set up a schedule for next week. I just had them sign off on all the town policies. Yeah, yeah.
This is what you take on Monday when you get appointed. You take this piece of paper
To the clerk, yeah.
to the town clerk. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. So we bring somebody into town, and unfortunately, we're losing somebody. You know, young lady, move up here. So the next thing on the agenda is resignation letter from Tammy Martin, town accountant, effective December 7th, 2023. I hear you're leaving us because you have a greater opportunity right now, and you're gonna grace another town with all the wisdom you've gained from us.
I know, and I'm gonna write this letter that I'd like to read.
So,
Um,
chair is yours.
Dear Board of Selectmen, I am writing to inform you of my decision to resign from my position of town accountant for the town of Warren. My last day will be on Thursday, December 7th. I want to express my deep gratitude for the opportunities and experiences I have gained during my time working for the town of Warren. Working here has provided me with valuable skills and knowledge that will undoubtedly contribute to my future success. It has been such a pleasure coming to work every day and work with wonderful colleagues. I will truly miss working with all the departments. Departments use teamwork, communication, and cooperation, which have allowed us to accomplish so much through these past years. I am confident the town of Warren will continue to thrive. Our town is a great town administrator. It has a lot of heart and enthusiasm, which will continue to help our town grow. He has given me the confidence and guidance that has really helped me strive my position as in the town of Warren. Thank you again for all your understanding and support. I really appreciate it. I really, truly do love it here, but like you said,
Again, you know, we love you too, and we're sad to lose you. We really wish we could keep you, but you're going on to bigger things now, and you're moving on in your career. And I think that, I actually take a lot of pride in that, because here you are, you come in here, you learned as much as you could possibly learn, and you gained all that knowledge, and now you're gonna move on and spread that to other communities. And it's just making us feel we're at least doing something right by helping you grow too. And that's what we're trying to do. Is we can't keep everybody, you know, but as much as we'd like to, you know, everybody's gonna grow in their career, and we're just glad that you were with us for as long as you were, and we really appreciate everything you've done for the town, and you truly will be missed, and you're always welcome here.
Thank you.
This is your home, so, you know, if you ever need anything, we're here.
thank you very much.
Don't go anywhere yet.
Oh.
Thank you, Tammy, for all you've done, and good luck.
Thanks.
Yeah, he's gonna bring on the tears for everybody, so.
No, I was gonna propose a raise, but that's not.
Oh.
Thank you for everything what you've done, and remember, shine and show everybody that we are really good over here.
I talk very highly of the town, so.
Mr. Farrar?
Like I said, Mr. Chairman, before, when we had our department head meeting this week, it's very bittersweet. Tammy was a pleasure to work with. She was very helpful to me in understanding where the town is financially. And like I said at the meeting, you know, Warren's loss is Barry's gain, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're very lucky to have you. And, you know, the amount of stuff you've done here and the amount of work you've provided for our community, you know, it's truly outstanding in your work ethic, and we appreciate everything. And we're in really good financial status because of you and the rest of the team. You know, you helped spearhead that and get the town where we should be. along with Mr. Farrar and the rest of the financial team, you know, everybody knows what to do and work towards the goal, and we really appreciate that, and, you know, truly be missed here. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. I'm gonna sit here too.
Do you want to say anything else? No?
Just thank you, honestly, it is, I love all the departments and everyone I work with, so I can't say that.
Good luck in Barry, right?
Yes.
Congratulations.
And I'm excited about that too, so.
And I know Mr. Farrar is always going to be available if you need any
Yes, I'm
help.
sure I'll be staying at meetings.
Do you have anything else?
No, that's it.
Does anybody else want to say anything?
Goodbye, Terry. You guys don't have to vote to accept her resignation.
Tammy.
you know.
Yeah, you know, you can
You
deny her
can
resignation.
deny her resignation.
That
It's
is
a
an
vote.
option.
Thank you, Tammy, for everything that you've done for all the departments. It's been a pleasure to work with you. You're very easygoing, easy person to work with, and always, you know, anytime I've ever called, you've always helped with everything. So thank you from the fire department. I'm sure I speak for the other departments. Good luck in your new position. We wish you well.
Thank you very much.
We got some more time to beat her up still.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
another
no,
one.
no.
Yeah, thank goodness, we still got it for a little while longer.
Did you want to say anything, Jeremy?
Yeah, just same, you know, echo Adam, she's been a great help. You know, the highway department has been expanding in its roles and finance and different accounts and accounting, and without her, you know, it just, she helps keep it all together for us, so we'll definitely miss her.
Shelley and I work very tight too.
Yeah.
Miss all of it. I will miss everybody, honestly, truly. It's like, yeah, we have a great team here.
We do. You know, and it's going to be hard to try to replace you, you know. And if you change your mind, you know where we
Thanks.
are. All right, we'll let you off the
Thank
hot
you.
seat now.
Thanks. We're gonna be happy a lot down the road.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, yeah, get used to it.
It's only the beginning.
So, I guess we got to vote on this now.
Well, you just.
No, we don't have to vote.
No, no. So, well, I was gonna say, we could deny it too. Reject, no. All right. So next thing on the agenda is discussion and approval of a Chapter 90 project requested by Mr. Olson. Anticipated vote. How you doing, sir?
Very good, very good. Jeremy Olson, Highway Surveyor. I come before you guys tonight actually on a very exciting and positive project. About a year and a half ago, Chapter 90 started to do a lot of changes in their policies. And one of the main changes was utilizing equipment on Chapter 90 projects. And unfortunately, they put a lot more restrictions on it. And really what I found is we've always been able to rent equipment from local contractors at a very reasonable rate. Now they really do not want us to do that. And if we do rent equipment, it has to be from certified dealers. So the rental rates are very high. And the other option was to lease a piece of equipment or buy a piece of equipment. And the state is really leaning towards towns to buy equipment. We are one of very few communities that has never used Chapter 90 to purchase a piece of equipment. I've always found that our funds are kind of limited, so I would like to keep putting all the money into the road system. But in this situation, I found that we're going to be taking large chunks of money from that for these rentals. And in doing so, I kind of set out on a long journey of exploring different excavators is what we're really talking about here. So large digging machine. We do all our drainage work, all our culvert replacements, widening roads, removal of stumps, removal of big rocks and stones, and you know, endless projects with these. And it really saves us a tremendous amount of time and money when we can have the piece of equipment, as opposed to either renting it or hiring it out, which is even way more expensive. Because to hire a contractor with the machine to come in, Our next project coming up, Coy Hill. We have over 5,000 feet of drainage to install. It's gonna take several months. The road has to be widened for over 2 miles. A lot of different projects, a lot of different time involved in that project alone. Rental fee for that project could be $35,000, $40,000. So I did a lot of exploring of different options. We have Caterpillar equipment in our garage now. I've had worked with Caterpillar for a long time, great support, but unfortunately I think their equipment price range is very high. And so I kind of stayed away from that. I looked at John Deere's, I looked at some other off-brands, Hyundai, Hitachi, and actually what we settled on was a Case, which is, we're utilizing a state contract through Combis, but we still looked at other options. We balanced different machines against each other price-wise, but utilizing the Combis contract, it definitely gave us the best value. So what we're looking to purchase is a Case CX145 zero-swing excavator. Again, the capabilities of this machine are far beyond anything we can do with what we have right now. Again, if we're looking in the future to go towards a DPW, this machine is capable of doing all the sewer repairs across town, along with anything else we happen to come across. We have a lot of deep lines. This can dig 22 feet deep. It can lift massive culverts. It can do a lot of different things. And I really feel the value to purchase this will pay us back over, this is a machine that we'll have for at least 20 years. And I would estimate that at least within 5 years, we'll have paid ourselves back by buying it over renting it. And really, again, it was, the price range and all these equipments was kind of everywhere. We got this machine for basically $100,000 off their list price. So list price plus the attachments was close to about $290,000. The price through Combis, everything included, is $189,000. The other motivating factor here is we received roughly $1.1 million from ARPA funds to do road reconstruction on Coy Hill, O'Neill Road, Santos Road, and a few other places. I contacted the state in reference to utilizing that money to help pay for equipment, and absolutely not. They will not let us touch that money for equipment. It has to be for all materials and service. So with that being said, it's like, okay, I have all this money to do construction and I can't use the equipment from that fund. The other nice thing is we're very flush in Chapter 90 right now. We have over $600,000 still available after this year's projects. I still have a very small chunk of money to pay from Bemis Road, but that project's done. Just waiting on the last invoice. There should be money left over coming back into the account. I was also informed that we have 2 new funds that are being developed right now that the state has already voted on and already approved. We'll be looking possibly around another $300,000 in funding in March, plus an additional almost $300,000 next summer. So we'll have over $1 million in our Chapter 90 account. Plus I have over $1 million for ARPA road reconstruction. And we've never been in a position where I could buy something like this and not be negatively affected anywhere. We won't even feel it. Like it, and again, it's nice because it's money. Basically it's reimbursed by the state through the Chapter 90 project, and costs our local tax dollars $0. Again, most of this was funded through federal and state. So again, it's no cost to the town essentially, and the payback and benefit of this piece of equipment is almost, I can't even put numbers on it because it'll just keep building over the years for every project we utilize it on. So at this time, the state already approved it. It's on their end. I sent the paperwork in for the preliminary. They looked at everything. They looked at my numbers. They looked at what we did, the research I did, and approved it almost within 1 day. So at this point, I just need a vote from you guys to allow me to make the purchase, and then we'll have reimbursement paperwork that you'll have to sign. But other than that, the project's 100% go. So it's
So-
up to you.
This is not a small
No.
excavator. It's
No.
actually a pretty big one.
It's a 32,000-pound zero swing machine, has 22-foot reach digging depth. We're getting 3 different buckets, one specifically for drainage, one for clean out, and one for grading and smoothing, ditch work, stuff like that. We're gonna get a ripper tooth for pulling stumps and ripping out large rock, and we have a lot of ledge. It's good, it's all hydraulically plumbed to run jackhammer, compactors, roadside mower attachments. There's endless things that you can utilize this for in the future. But for right now, let's just get the
So-
base unit with what we need and start working.
My question to you, sir, is this gonna make your department more efficient?
100 times more efficient. We'll be able to do jobs that used to take us 2-3 weeks, we could probably do it in 2 or 3 days. With excavator, you're out of the road most of the time, and you can utilize the machine because it's zero swing, meaning it doesn't have a big tail swing. So you can spin around in one lane of traffic and keep the other lane of traffic open.
Mhm.
Dig in front of you and load a truck behind you. Again, it's
Yeah,
efficiency.
that's what I was
is
doing.
beyond-
I was looking at the equipment, I was
What's the model?
checking it out.
Case
It's a Case CX 145D.
Yep. The other nice thing too, Monroe Tractor, very high qualifications as far as the state was concerned. They won the state bid for this piece of equipment over any other of the dealers. They have a great service team, very friendly, and they were kind enough, they let us demo one recently, and he says, well, once the numbers come out, you let us know what you wanna do, we'll leave it in your yard until you decide. So we actually already have the machine sitting in behind the building. It's not ours yet, they can easily come and pick it up and take it away, but they figured if we're gonna buy it, we'll save our trucking costs, and that way you guys won't have to wait for it, you'll already have it. So, yeah, that's it right there.
Very good.
Cool.
All right. And it was costing you $40,000 to rent one?
Yeah, for a project like Coy Hill, that's what it was.
And then we don't even own it.
Yeah, you're giving money away. Where this way here, at least it'll be an investment that we keep.
For the next 20 years?
20+ years. The life expectancy of this machine is easily 20+ years.
So if we're looking at that, $40,000 a year for the next 20 years.
And then if you figured out cost, if I was to hire a contractor to come in with a machine and do our excavation for us, it would be 8 to 10 times that amount. So.
Okay.
Do you have a trailer or something? that
So
can
right
cart this
now,
around
we have
then?
a deal, luckily, local contractors, there's 2 local contractors already that both told me they would move it for us anytime we want, but a third one who's recently building a shop here in town, Samick Trucking, he hauled it to a job site and back for us for virtually no cost. And he's available 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So if we had an emergency and I needed this machine to go to the other side of the town at midnight because a road was washing out, he would get it there for us. And it is also the right size machine where we in the future can purchase a trailer and move it ourselves. And there's 3 of us on the highway department right now with a Class A CDL, myself included, so we can legally trailer it anywhere we want.
Okay.
So,
Any other questions for him, sir?
No.
Any questions?
I have 3 observations, questions. One, actually, you already touched on it, for how many years we've been renting?
Well, since chapter 90, we've been renting about 12 years now.
So only there, it just paid off.
Virtually every project we've had to rent. Fortunately, we've been able to, up until about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, We've been able to rent from local contractors, so the rates are, you're using a much older machine, it's used, abused, they're letting us rent it at a much lower cost. The state didn't like that because they're worried about giving town money, just guys doing deals, backdoor, hey, I'll rent your machine for a month and it sits on the job and doesn't do anything and you're just giving away money. The state saw a lot of abuse, so they decided that we're gonna put new statute on it that it has to be from a certified dealer, which means you're generally getting almost a brand new machine to use, but it's at a much higher cost. So, and you're really that's the other thing in this, you're very time sensitive. We work, right now, we're still on 4-day, 10-hour work week, so we're trying to squeeze as much work into a small period of time to keep the cost down, where this would allow, hey, if that machine sat on the job for 6 weeks instead of 4, no big deal, it's not costing us anything extra. Where if it was a rental and I planned on 4 and it took 6, now that rental fee is 50% higher than I anticipated. It takes a bigger chunk of money away from the project, and ultimately it's, costs add up, less projects, less roads paved, less things fixed. So it's just a benefit all the way around.
Thank you. Number 2, in case of emergencies or anything, can we help other towns with it or even rent it to other
Yes.
people? I
Yes,
don't
we
know if
can.
it's allowed.
We are allowed to assist in other towns. We have in the past. We've worked hand in hand with Brimfield mostly. They've let us use their equipment, we've let them use our equipment, or we've all gotten together with both of our equipment and worked in a job. You can charge, you can do a trade. There is a lot of flexibility in working from town to town. So if there was an emergency in West Brookfield and Jim Daly, they needed somebody as quick as possible to fix a washed out culvert or something, we could truck the machine over there, have it all fixed by the next day, where he doesn't have to worry about, oh, can I rent something, can I get somebody out here? That is an option. It's one that I would be cautious with. It's a nice, expensive piece of equipment. So if it does go anywhere, it's gonna go with an operator from our town. So it'll be myself or 2 other gentlemen that are skilled operators that can use it.
Thank you.
So,
Last one, and this one has a little bit of my name on it, but you mentioned that there is some money for the roads. So can we paint the roads, use reflective attachments or anything to keep the roads nice and safe?
yeah, we can.
Awesome. He said yes.
That was an unrelated topic you stuck in there.
It depends
He
on,
mentioned
obviously,
about the
road
money.
markings and reflectors, there's statutes for what you can and cannot do. It has to be one of our roads. Route 67, we own a very, very small piece of that road. So pretty much we can do what we want right here in downtown, and that's it. The rest of the roads, Route 19 is a state-funded, state-owned, it's a state route, but it's town-maintained. So there's limitations what we can do with that road, but for the most part, we can kind of do what we want.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else?
I'll just say Jeremy's been doing a great job, and financially, I think he's on the ball. We've seen a lot of good decisions, so. This is.
Mr. Farrar, did you have anything?
No, I would just, with regards to insurances and different things, I would just check in to make sure that, everybody who's operating that is fully licensed and their licenses are kept up for that. We will have to, obviously insure this piece of equipment. I'm not sure what the actual cost will be for insuring it, but that will have to be calculated in as well. Will this be garaged?
Currently, I would like to make space for it in our building. That's another conversation. We have obtained so much equipment in the last couple of years through my surplus connections throughout the state and nice new purchases. We're overgrown our building. So right now we have to pick and choose what goes inside, what goes outside. Ultimately, my plan is maybe in the upcoming year or so to build some sort of cold storage building, probably a Quonset hoop building, canvas roof. Would have to be replaced every 10 to 15 years, but it's relatively inexpensive, and it would just keep all of our stuff out of the elements, which is, you know, it doesn't need to be heated, but it does need to stay out of the sun and the rain and the snow and the ice. So we are going to try to make some space for this in the shop here very soon before the snow flies. So, barring that you allow us to buy it, that's all.
Well, I concur with Mr. Ihawker that you've come to us and you've made wise decisions, and it makes no sense renting something that we could own. I'm a firm believer of, let's just buy it instead of paying somebody else to have theirs. And you're just paying for their equipment to have for their truck, town, or wherever. It'd be good for us to have our own. When Mr. Ferrara brought this to me earlier, I'm like, what do we need an excavator for? And you explained that, culverts and drainage work and, you know, everything that else that goes on. And if it can make your team more efficient and make it safer for you guys to be able to do your job with fresh, new, safe equipment, it's a no-brainer for me, and it's not costing the town any money. You're thinking outside the box. You're not costing the taxpayers any money, and we're getting nice new equipment to make things better. So, I think I'm good. Mrs. Martin,
Absolutely.
as a town administrator, what would you recommend?
Agree with Jeremy on this one. Yes, it would be a yes for me.
All right, let's do a vote.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the new excavator from Chapter 90 money.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Pay for it.
Oh, don't you worry. I got a lot of work to do.
Good job, Jerry.
Thanks again.
All right, next thing on our agenda is resignation email from Devin. Is it Gold or Cold? Cold.
Devon Colton.
Colton. Because that's a D. Is it Colden or Colton?
Golden. I think you pronounce it
Colden. Colden.
Yeah.
Colden.
Yeah.
Okay, so from Devon Colden, the wastewater treatment plant effective November 6, 2023. He had some things going on in his own life, and he resigned from his position, and we wish him the best, and, future good luck. And if he ever needs a job, we're here.
Yeah.
Do you have anything?
No, I think he seemed like a great guy, a good employee. It's too bad. And these positions are not easy to fill.
They're not easy to
Neither
fill
is
at
town
all.
accountant, but sewer,
No.
I think, is harder. So,
Do you have anything, sir?
No, sir.
Anything?
Nope.
All right. Wish him the best of luck. Next thing on the agenda is review a request from the tax collector to start Julie Towson as the assistant tax collector at step 3 on the wage classification scale. Anticipated vote for this.
Hey,
How you doing tonight?
Gary Schmidt, the tax collector.
So what are you bringing to us? Why are we doing this?
Well, because Ron is gonna be retiring in December. He's been with us for 8 years and, has done a good job. And I'm hoping that this is not gonna be a difficult position to fill, because I, look down the hall, and Julie, who does essentially the same thing in Don's office, is willing to come work in my office. So, her resume shows that if she had spent 10 years in full-time jobs preparing for the part-time job in my office, she couldn't have done a better job, because she's worked as a bank teller and at JY, reconciling cash ups and handling money, customer service, doing reports, and that is pretty much what the job entails.
Very
So
good.
she's got 10 years' experience of that. She's been with Don since January.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Been doing a good job.
Yeah.
Good, good employee. Do you have any questions?
No, sounds like a good idea.
Do you have any questions, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, Mr. Ferrara, did you have something?
I would just say that, when it's possible, in this particular case, we can do internal hires and give people a little bit more hours. We're gonna look to do that, especially people that are very, astute to what's going on in their departments.
Good employees, wanna keep them.
In the DLS, it suggested that we look, forward toward combining two offices of treasurer and collector, and this would make that easier. We wouldn't have to get rid of somebody when ultimately we did that, so, yeah, she's done a great job, and I think she's gonna do a great job in my office.
Very good.
Okay.
All right. Think it's a good thing, and I have no objections to it. Think it's good.
Yeah.
Vote.
Motion? Okay, I'll make a motion to hire Julie Towson and as the assistant tax collector and start her at a step 3.
Second.
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. All right.
Look at
Next thing on the agenda is review of any departmental requests for staff to attend the November 16th special town meeting anticipated vote. Okay, do we have any requests?
I don't think we received any.
Okay. I think the only one we have that we had to talk about is with Karen.
Okay.
Doing the annual, well, the special. Typically, we have her available for the meeting prior, the 30-minute meeting prior, and then any assistance during the town meeting. I don't know how you guys feel, if you want to continue that, or if we just want to say, okay, well, we could handle the 30 minutes on our own, and, because all we're doing is exchanging, we're opening up a meeting,
There's
exchanging,
nothing.
yeah, we're exchanging the articles. May have a conversation
Passing out all
with-
the articles for everybody else.
Yeah. So there's that stuff, And then when we're actually having the meeting is actually recorded by the town,
Yeah, we don't need minutes for that.
so that's all done. Do you have any thoughts?
I'm okay if he stays.
She?
Yeah, she, sorry. Sorry, Mrs. Dusty.
Okay.
I think I'm okay if she stays.
I was gonna say try, I don't know that do we need assistance? I don't know. I mean, have we used assistance?
Yeah. You're sitting right here. What are your thoughts?
Well, okay, there's a lot of things that go on that you guys don't probably know. I mean, I pass around all the motions out before the meeting. And during the meeting, there has been a couple of times where there was some confusion, and I helped straighten out the confusion. But it's up to you guys. I mean,
Are you okay working late hours with us over there?
Sure. I mean, last year, we had 32 motions on the floor, and it took us 1 hour to go through that special town meeting. That's pretty fast.
What do you mean, the special town meeting was 1 hour long? Yeah.
Yeah. Technology.
Yeah.
Those clickers are awesome. Much better. you know, I'm always, I'm always, happy to have the extra help. But my thoughts are is, you know, we can get the articles from you, and we could have them up there, and when everybody comes in, they can get them from us, or they can get them up
Or
from
the
us.
other option, have me come to the 30-minute, pass out the article, and be done. And don't pay me for this special town meeting. So you're paying me for 45 minutes. Or I can just do it, just because I'm nice.
No, you can't,
No, you can't
do
do
that.
that. They have to pay you.
They have to pay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, people could come and get their articles. If they're reading an article, they should be on the ball to like.
Well,
So you say that.
yeah.
You say that.
But still.
Yeah, yeah. Wait and see.
And then when they get there and they're like, I don't have my article, and you know,
It's their time
everybody's
to
staring
read.
at it, and they're trying to figure out where their article is, and because they should have been
Or
prepared.
who's reading it,
Hmm?
what board member's gonna read it. Oh, that one isn't here, so this one has to do it. Oh, that one isn't here, so this one has to do it.
Well, that's something we gotta let them know too, is, hey, if you get an article, you better damn well have somebody picked out that's gonna be presenting that article at the meeting,
Board member.
a board member, because it's not up to the select board to read all your articles for the town. You know, those are your articles, you need to defend them.
I have a question. So let's say we agree that you're gonna work for us that night for 45 minutes and preparing and doing all that. Are you gonna stay in the meeting or are you gonna leave?
No, I'll stay.
Now, if
But
you
she's a
stay and we
Because
get
I'm-
in a.
She has to come sit in the audience.
Yeah, I understand that, but let's say we end up with a situation that we agree here that we need her, and then as needed, for example? No, you can't say
No,
that.
because then you can't just pull her out of the audience and say, hey, I need you to go back to work now.
Yeah,
That's not really fair to her,
yeah.
you know? That would. What do you wanna do?
I'm game for anything.
Part of me thinks, I mean, the reason we went down this road is because it wasn't necessary to have employees working at a town meeting, so.
Well, no, people, yes, but people were relying on the employees to read their articles
Well,
for the
that- okay,
boards,
yeah, yeah.
which
Which was
became
really
a
bad.
problem
Yeah.
because they were having an employee come there, sit there for 2 or 3 hours to read one article.
Yeah.
And they paid them for that whole time.
Right, yeah.
And that was not a wise thing, where in Karen's position, she's up there helping out. She's helping out with the town clerk, assisting that way, and then she's in our pre-meeting for doing everything, handing out the article. She's actually doing stuff there, so. My question is, do we just wanna keep her doing that, or just try to do it on our own and wish the best?
Or the other one is just for the 45 minutes.
I second that.
I mean, do you guys really
I
have
couldn't
the
help it.
pressure of trying to find everybody
Yeah,
to
we
make
got
sure
that.
that they've got their articles, their motions? I still think the best solution is to just, the 45 minutes and call it a night.
She wants an early night.
Yeah.
Or nothing. I mean, you know, and I agree with you. There isn't very many times, I think probably in the 5 meetings that I have been sitting up there, there's been 3 times that I've had to do something during the actual annual or special town meeting.
Mhm.
But could that have been done by the assistant town clerk?
No, because it was stuff that you guys needed.
It was that stuff that maybe Jim would have in his material or knowledge.
I don't know what.
I don't know what the things were, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, one of them that comes to mind is the confusion about who we were talking about when we were talking about the janitorial position for the senior center and the manager. And there was major confusion about that.
Mhm.
So it needed to be pointed out.
She helped fill in details.
And then when we had a bill that was, needed to be paid, I filled in the details on that one too. Those are the two that I remember right off the top of my head.
Okay.
But most of the stuff that I do at the special town meeting happens before the meeting starts.
Well, it's not a bad, like, compromise position then, right?
Yeah.
Do the 45 minutes,
Yeah.
and then that's where most of the work happens.
Yeah, make sure everybody gets everything and go from there. Because we're bouncing around trying to figure out what we're trying to do, and,
Mhm.
you know, it's nice to have that extra help. What do you think? 45 minutes prior to the meeting?
I agree, that way if the meeting goes too late, Mrs. Dusty is, free to leave, because it's getting late, or stay there for the whole meeting.
Okay. I'm good with that.
Okay,
All right. So, yeah,
so do we need to make a motion to approve that?
approve the time, yeah.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve Karen Dusty working for 45 minutes at the beginning of the special town meeting.
Prior to the start of the.
Prior to the start, yeah.
Second,
special town meeting. All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Here we go. And then if we need to extend her term.
And then there were no
She's
other-
already there on payroll.
And just for the record, right, there were no other requests.
Nobody else?
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And just, I would send out an email
Yeah,
to all these boards, departments, committees, anybody that's presenting anything, they need to have somebody present to be able to present their own articles, because I don't wanna be handed a few articles at the beginning of the meeting saying, hey, there's nobody here for them.
yeah.
Cause we've had that happen a few times when we're reading other departments' articles for them. And then we end up, instead of reading 10 articles between us, we're reading 20 articles now.
Yeah.
Also in anticipation of the meeting, next week, early next week, maybe, you can start handing out the motions to
I tried
departments.
that one year,
They all leave.
and everybody forgot them.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it was just my copy.
Oh,
So I can
Yeah.
do both ways.
yeah, maybe just the date, that Thursday, that Thursday, give them to them, in preparation for the meeting.
Yep.
I would have a copy available at
Yes,
the meeting.
absolutely. Bring another
'Cause I,
copy of that.
yeah, well, I put them on my kitchen table and I
Hold on, let me run home and
forgot.
get them. I'll be back.
Yeah. Yeah, just
It's
bring
like-
them.
That's okay, everybody here will just wait for you to get them. Yeah.
Well, what you could say in an email to everybody is Karen will have your article that you're gonna read. Come
Come see her.
find So she's not
Or
chasing people.
if they let me know who is going to read it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whom.
Whom?
Whom, no, who is gonna read it?
Okay,
No, who?
It would be.
To whom?
To whom did I read?
okay. I always get that confused.
He's our English teacher too.
Yikes.
All right, so we got that figured out. All right, let's move on. And so everybody remembers, special town meeting is November 16th, and it starts at 7 PM.
Yep.
So we'll be there for 6:30. FinCom's usually there for 6:30.
They should be.
FinCom, 6:30?
I can't speak for FinCom, but I'll personally be there.
Okay. All right. So, next thing on the agenda, review and possible signing a contract between the town and J&M Transfer, Inc. for the transportation and transfer of liquid wastewater treatment plant sludge. Okay, not a job I want. Anticipated vote. So, Mr. Ferrara, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And in your packets tonight is a contract with the town and J&M Transfer Inc., who's actually is currently the sludge hauler down at the wastewater treatment plant. They were, the contract expired this year, went out to bid. We had two responses to the RFP. J&M was the lowest and responsible bidder. We are currently trying to get a contract squared away with them. And the sewer commissioner signed off on the contract, the town accountant signed off on the contract, and now we just need the selectmen, or the chair of the select board, and the president of the company to sign it as well.
Wait, sorry, you said you were working on an agreement?
Well, this is the, it's
This
not
is the agreement.
finalized. This is the agreement.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah.
It just needs to be voted and signed, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you guys have any questions about the contract?
I do not.
No, sir.
Ms. Louise? No? All right. Do you have anything else, Ed?
Nope.
What, pricing and stuff, is that?
So pricing is in Article 2, and Article 2, the pricing is 0.196 cents per gallon.
0.196,
Per gallon
okay.
of sludge.
And how many gallons are we talking?
There's a in the proposal, there's between 400,000 to 600,000 worth of sludge
Over a year.
over a year.
It's like $500,000.
No. They, you know, that's their range, so that I think the total value of the contract is anywhere between 100,000 to 125,000.
Yep.
That's something you wanna take on?
Heck, no.
Can you haul that with your excavator, your new
No,
excavator?
no.
There's no
We
sludge
actually-
attachment?
actually, the
Brand
town-
new excavator?
The town did have a truck to do that, years and years ago. They basically never really used that truck.
'Cause
They
it's-
ended up hiring, cause it was just,
It
it had
smelled
special
bad.
locking seals on it and everything, but it didn't work out so well for them. So we actually ended up with the truck, we still have it. It's an old 1990 International, so it's our
Okay.
oldest dump truck in the fleet right now, so.
All right.
The problem is with this you know, with this type of activity, it's not so much the collection of the sludge and the transport, it's the dumping. So, it's this company who hauls it has got to have a relationship with a plant that will accept it.
Mm.
And there's very few plants, because of all the regulations out there, that will accept it, and then they have to negotiate a price for accepting it.
Yeah.
So you
You
know,
probably
that's.
have all their endorsements too, because it's
Right.
biohazard and
Yeah.
hazardous material and stuff, so,
Yeah.
not what I wanna be doing,
No.
pay somebody else. All
Next
right,
time you complain about your job, you can pull out this
Yeah.
contract and say, no.
at least I'm not doing that. Jim McKeon, something you wanna do in the future? No? You have every other job.
Drive the truck, but.
Yeah, he drives that old truck.
Yeah.
Oh, you're halfway there.
That's
Yeah.
right. Although we did cut the seals off of it, so it's no
That's
longer,
okay.
it's no longer watertight, so we
Ah.
leave some trails of stuff along the way.
Well, it's
Hey, it'd
less,
be lighter
less
by
the
the time
drop
we get
off.
there.
Oh, geez. Just drive it in the rain so it washes away.
No
Yeah,
problem.
really, can you imagine? Make sure you don't go by my house.
Every
Yeah,
town,
my house
every
either.
town would love you for that.
My street is no trucks.
All right, let's get this done.
All right, so I'll make a motion to accept okay, hold on a sec. I'll make a motion to accept the contract between the town and J&M Transfer Inc. for the transportation and transfer of liquid wastewater from the treatment plant, and have the chairman sign.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously, and I will sign. Okay. Are you getting the contract?
I get it after everybody signs it.
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. Number 6, review and possible signing a certificate of completion for the exterior building improvement project and the release of contractors' funds held in escrow, anticipated vote, and this is for the senior center project, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, I went to the senior center today, and, looked at the work. They did a really good job. He definitely takes attention to detail. He did the little extras and stuff. Great job. We noticed other things that are on the list now to take care of. We noticed some water damage in, where they have the access, the loading dock access. There's been water getting in there and rotted out the floor there. Pushing on it and it crunched in. So that's
broke it?
We broke it. So, but it does have to get fixed. We have to fix that loading dock. We're looking at the roof there. There are two layers of shingles on the roof. And the latest layer that was put on there is really not holding up well on the older part of the building. The newer part of the building that was added on, still looking good. Probably get some time out of that. And then the heater there, that needs to be serviced. Sharon's gonna get that serviced. But as far as with the work here, I think he did a really good job, very nice. Seniors seem very happy with the project. Definitely looks like, he definitely had a lot of attention to detail. All the gutters, I like how he actually screwed the gutters together and didn't just attach them, because first big storm we get, they come down. He actually took the time to attach all the gutters mechanically to make sure that they didn't come apart. He did quite a bit of work. So it looks very good. Sharon's gonna be probably putting some pictures up on Facebook for residents to see, the actual finished, completed project. But there's still a lot of work to be done over there. There's some grading that needs to be done, because right now, the way some of the garden beds are graded, they're graded where all the water goes into the building. And, because it's literally 6 to 8 inch drop from the sidewalk down towards the building. So those are things we gotta deal with. And then there's a couple little sinkholes that need to be repaired, that are on that front porch. They have the columns that are there, and some of the dirt has been compacting over the years, so we gotta compact some more dirt in there. But these are all things, capital improvement, and hopefully maintenance funds that we could take care of and get done. But it's definitely looking good, and seniors appear to be very happy with it. They deserve it. Have you had a chance to look? I know you looked
Yep,
at it.
I was
What did you
there
think?
a couple weeks ago for Jim's cannoli
Okay.
event, and then I was there on Tuesday to see the final. And yeah, it looks great. I like the blue. It looks very clean and crisp
Good color,
now,
yeah.
And he fixed some stuff like that rotting wood
Yeah.
that he
Yeah.
discovered once he started pulling things down that really would have been a bad,
Yeah.
the there was only one direction for that to go, south, so. Yeah, I think he did a great job.
Yeah, he did above and beyond, you
Mhm.
know, he,
Yeah.
good contractor, he stepped up and, you know, when he found things, he didn't just try to cover them up. He let you know
Yeah,
and said, hey, there's an issue,
yep.
you know? And then the ones that couldn't really fix right now, some of the doors that are rusting out in the bottom there, we had to replace some of those. So there's some projects that they're gonna be coming down the line for the senior center, and, you know, we're gonna pay some close attention to that and get that stuff done and make sure that they have a nice building for a very long time to come. And unfortunately, for many years, no maintenance is done,
Mhm.
and now we're playing catch-up. That's what happens in small towns when you don't do maintenance and you don't prepare for these things, and a little tiny thing that you could have fixed today, you let go, and it became a big thing, because now you got water damage, and you got this, and you get that, you get rotted out material, and it turns out to be a bigger project. So we're trying to nip that in the bud and fix all this stuff and make sure that they have a very safe and nice place to go for many years. So, did you get a chance to see it yet?
I did. I wanted to mention that all these little building improvements and maintenance really shows off what we're here for, because we care for the people, we care for the town, we care for the seniors. And this just shows off our goodwill and the way we represent our population to be a better town.
And I have to say, Mr. Farrar picked out the color right.
Well, I suggested
You
blue.
recommended the color?
I suggested blue, and they went, you know, the Sharon agreed with it, so.
He's so modest, huh?
He is, he's very modest. Yeah, I went in the senior center and they're all praising him and, oh, we love Jim and everything. And I'm like, yeah, we love him too. You know, he does a good job. But, yeah, they were very happy to see him, and it
He's a
shows.
cannoli guy now. so
He's the cannoli guy.
I would be happy to see him.
Bring me cannolis in, I'll be happy to see you, you know? But yeah, you know, you did a really good job on picking the color, and it looks good. I was skeptical when you said blue, I'm like, oh, I don't know. But it's actually a really nice color, it goes well.
Yeah, it looks good.
Look at his sweater.
Yeah. See?
And the thing is, a lot of out-of-town seniors, right, come to our senior center. I mean, it's
Because
not
of the
just.
food.
Yeah, not just
And
Warren
the food,
residents.
And that's another thing.
So it shows off our town to other towns, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And we're looking at doing over the kitchen in there too. That's, next project is, kitchen's gonna be redone. We have some equipment that, looking at, doing commercial equipment there.
Mm.
And replacing the cabinets, so it's no longer cabinets, but the stainless steel shelving we're looking
Yeah.
at doing. And John over there said that, you know, he'd prefer to have the shelving instead of the cabinets. Cabinets, they rot out, the stainless steel is much more healthy
Yeah.
and easier to keep clean, and definitely, you know, I went there today and I fixed the drawer for John, so he knows that's fixed, so. But little things, you know.
Little by little.
Little by little, we'll get it done, and there's a lot more to come. This is just one portion of it, and I think he did a great job. And hopefully he does more work for us in the future, because I'm impressed with him.
Yeah, he came in on budget and under time. He
Yeah.
finished it early, right? Like a week-ish?
Well, he was supposed to be finished by the
10th.
10th, so
Mhm.
Friday. So he's, you know, about a week early.
Yeah, okay.
It's good. Yeah. And he did extra work, you know,
Right.
so he finished early and he did extra work. What do you wanna vote?
Yep. I'll make a motion to sign the certificate of completion for the work at the senior center and release the funds held in escrow.
Second.
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Are you following comments?
What do you mean?
On Facebook.
Facebook? Or streaming?
I have not.
You want me to
Oh.
check? I don't.
No, that's what I thought you were giggling about.
No, I was giggling about the fact that it's very strange. It's not very common to have something done earlier,
Yeah.
you know, in these days. So it
A
shows.
quality job.
It shows goodwill, you know.
We definitely gotta get that roof replaced though. Okay. Next thing on the agenda, discuss levy emergency action plan proposal presented by Mr. McKeon, the emergency manager. Anticipated vote. Sir, you're up.
Good evening, Jim McKeon, emergency manager. A couple weeks ago, we did our annual levy inspection, and they were happy with our trailer and a couple things we've done. And they mentioned, they mentioned about having an emergency action plan. So kind of looked into, thought we had it with our SEP plan. But this is actually, it's gonna be more of a separate plan.
Specifically
Yeah,
to the mill
itself.
complex?
Actually here, I have two other ones in town, one for Cummins Pond, one for another Lamington Dam out by Douglas Road.
Hmm.
So each dam, this is the accurate emergency action plan for Cummins Pond. So basically, the emergency chiefs can take it and go through it and basically follow it and have all your step-by-step things to do in it. Now, this is created by engineers and so I think that's something on our priority list down there, to look into forming an emergency action plan for that levy.
So we're looking to contract that out?
It's probably something that would have to be contracted out, similar to someone that did these.
I think it's a good idea.
That's just something to look into, to put on your list. And there would be like 5 big priorities to that. That article comes through.
Yeah, when we were talking with them, you know, we thought we had something for dam control, but again, with the levy, we didn't even know we owned it till a couple of years ago. And now we gotta take care of it and get up to date with it and do what we need to do. And I think having an action plan on that, knowing what to do, where we need to be, what equipment we need to have in place if there was a failure, what to do. And I think that's beyond any of our scope and ability to do. That's somebody that specializes in that type of thing.
This thick for,
Yeah,
there's maps,
yeah.
flow charts, and impacts down the stream.
Yeah.
It's basically identifies incidents that can lead to potential emergency conditions that affect that.
And that's
Specifies pre-planned actions to minimize property damage.
What communities to notify,
Yes,
you know?
the landowners to
Yeah.
everything.
All right. So yeah, that's gonna have to be an article. Do a study, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, yes, that would have to be an article, yes.
Because that's probably gonna cost a little bit. You're probably looking at what? something like that, maybe $30,000-$40,000 study.
Yeah, I mean, it's a smaller dam, maybe you can get it for 20-25. You know.
So, well, we don't want the budget guy. We want the right guy.
Yeah, right.
You know,
So,
I hate to spend money, but it is, we need to prepare for it. Especially, you know, we have to become compliant with our agreement with the Corps of Engineers, because if anything happens, you know, this is one of the things, you know, they could sit there and say, well, you know something, your levee got breached and all that damage downstream, we're not gonna cover any of it financially because you guys never had a plan, and we told you needed it, so.
And I think out of that meeting there the other day, they were kind of stressing to have this in place. I feel that's the next big important thing to do for that.
Yeah, they were stressing a lot of things that we had to do, but yeah, that's something that's out of our hands and we're gonna have to plan for, and let's look into getting an article and planning for that in the future. That's not gonna happen soon.
Yeah, it's just gonna be put on the
Yeah.
priority list.
Yeah.
And,
So we do have that levy fund that we're trying to establish, but that's for maintenance.
Yeah.
Because we do have to maintain some areas, we gotta camera some of those valves and stuff, make sure those are all set, because that's one of the things we haven't done ever.
And that's why, once you do that and figure out, big valves that need to be pipes and need to be cleaned, that can start getting into the plan and things that, what it is.
Whose responsibility it is.
Responsibility.
Yeah.
So it could all kind of fold in as time goes on.
Yeah, the other thing was is maintaining those logs for the drain, the timber, making sure that stuff's still good, not rotting out, things like that. There's a lot of stuff we gotta do over there. And, yeah, we'll have to put an article on. That's gonna have to hit the annual because it's too late for the special. And see if we could do that. With the money we get now, if it gets approved, we can take care of some of that other stuff, cameras in
Brush.
the valves, taking care of the brush along there, because that was one of the things they were concerned, is any of the trees, they're like, yeah,
Over
it's,
4.5 feet.
huh?
Over 4.5 feet.
Yeah, nothing over 40 inches, right?
I don't remember
Yeah, I thought he said 40 inches,
Chest high.
yeah, chest high. Well, it depends on who it is. That's why I was like,
Right.
Jeremy.
Yeah, we'll bring it up a couple inches.
Gives us a little more time. But yeah, they made a point of getting the trees out of there, the brush. If you can work on that, as long as it's below 40 inches, you're kinda good, but get the trees out of there so it's not ruining the berm and pushing some of those big boulders out of the way.
Yeah, that's good.
So, all right, so,
Now,
more
is this
planning.
something we should work on over the winter here before the spring and try to contact some companies or quotes or try to
Yeah.
get ideas?
Yeah, I
or
would
thinking
see
about
how
it?
much it's gonna cost and work with Mr. Farrar on that, see how much, because we're gonna have to identify a cost associated with that type of study and development of the plan, to put on for the article, so the town knows what they're voting for and why we need to have it. You know,
So what about putting together a committee, a levy committee? that
You're
can-
reading my mind?
Yeah, that can look into this. I mean, now that we're gonna have money, we need to spend it wisely. We need to think about these things that are gonna come up that may need an article. That committee can work on those things, bring the recommendations to us, and then we can sort through them. But I think we really need to get some focus on the levy, cause just we talk about it, but
It's,
really.
it is a lot of work.
I know,
It's a
and
lot.
that's why I think a separate committee that could really sit down and say, okay, here's everything we need to do. What's our plan? How are we
Yeah.
gonna, how is it gonna get paid for? What are, you know? So I don't know, I mean,
Because it's a
certainly
lot
Jim
of
would
work
be.
for just you to do.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you need a committee, I don't know if you wanna call it like a levy safety committee or.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, certainly Jim would be.
Sounds good enough.
This is something that.
Levy safety
Kinda
committee.
start, or.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, 3, 5 people, something like that.
No, I don't think you're gonna get 5 people to
5 people
volunteer.
would be tough, but 3 we should be able to do.
3 you should be able to do, yeah.
Also, someone with a lot of history would be good for that area, you know, like, would know,
Yeah.
know the area, know
Mhm. The changes.
Looking at you, Joe.
the.
Yeah, I was thinking
Maybe
Joe.
that- what
I
about
was
that-
thinking Joe too.
What about that guy at the,
Bill.
Bill?
Bill.
No,
Yeah.
I was thinking Bill. He
Yeah.
has
Bill-
a
Bill
tremendous
is-
amount of knowledge of what's there
Yeah.
already, so.
Yeah.
He works with it on a daily basis, so having him involved would be very helpful.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Mhm.
if he would be willing to do that. But yeah,
Jim, do you know Bill? Do you talk to Bill?
I met him with the inspections and stuff.
Okay.
Um,
I'm just,
I know him fairly well.
could you approach him and just ask
Yeah,
him if he'd be
yeah.
willing to serve?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, that would be. a
levy
good-
safety committee,
Yeah,
so,
We started up with a few people, the
yeah,
yeah.
department heads and.
Mhm.
yeah. No, definitely a good idea, I'm all in support of it. We'd have to put that on the next agenda to create that committee.
Okay.
And we'll create that committee and get that going, because it is a lot of work. It's more than any of us individually could just do, because just walking through they're like, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, we need you to take care of this, and it's like, oh geez. Like, that's a lot of stuff to know, and then, of course, financially, we're hearing cha-ching, cha-ching,
Yeah.
because that's costing the town, and if we don't do it and something happens, God forbid,
Yeah.
What
you know,
hap-
it's
what-
on, we're paying for it
Mhm.
versus the Corps paying for it.
So we are working on this to be compliant,
Yeah.
just in case something happens. What if something happens while we're working on it?
Well, then,
I don't think.
you can't just ignore it either and say, let's pray that nothing happens. You know, we have to start somewhere.
That's my point, let's hurry up.
Yeah, I think we have to be in compliance, so all those items have to be done, checked off.
To a certain point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we're okay. But
Right.
if we're in the middle of it and something happens,
So
It's
let's,
on
let's,
us.
let's
SOL.
hurry up.
So right now, if something happened to that levy, we would be paying for it.
yeah.
Not completely.
No,
So
if you
the
show
rules
it.
and regulations
Well, yeah,
have
that-
changed.
yeah.
So they would base, the percentage that we would be liable depending upon what the conditions of the levy were, and if we were actively trying to maintain or improve, they would determine our liability. So
Okay.
it would never be 100% on us, because it is something we are actively pursuing.
Yeah, we're trying.
And they recognize that, and they changed what the statute of how they decided who was liable and who wasn't. So like, the way it stands now, we might be 20% liable of damages, they would assume 80%. Where if we continue to upgrade and maintain and bring it back to a safe level, it could get as much as they take care of 100%. But it still might only be 95, but again, when you're talking tens of millions of dollars in damage, if they're taking 95% of the load, that's a good thing.
Oh, yeah,
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, for the amount of money that we could put into it to get to compliancy,
Yeah, exactly.
it's a no-brainer. You know, we have to be able to continue forward and get it done. You know, just
And there's
wish this was something on our radar years ago, but at least we didn't find out after something
That
happened.
happened, correct.
Yeah.
So, all right, and we go to all the meetings. You guys are there, so. All right. Yeah. if we could put on an agenda,
Mhm.
the creation of a levy safety committee,
Got it.
and, you know, look at people who are interested in doing it. You know, to start off, and we could probably start off with 3 members, and go from there,
Yeah.
Okay.
so. All right, anything else, sir?
Pretty much it. Covers that, that's the most important thing, to start a committee and basically have a plan started
Yeah.
in a document or something, that's in writing, it's in, something to follow. That's the big thing nowadays, everybody
All right, thank you very much, sir. And good job.
is. All right, thank you.
All right, next thing on the agenda, review of shared programming for police, fire, town offices by Tectron Architects. Excuse me. Mr. Farrar?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Tecton Architects came out this past week, met with myself, Chief Lavoy, and Chief Millette. They updated their space analysis summary needs and looked at combining spaces, looked at individual spaces. This is the updated, although it's not final, but it is updated with the space needs summary. So, you know, as reported, the police department, as a standalone, would need 9,875 square feet of space with their current, you know, what their current net facility area is, and allowing 30% for growth for the future. The fire department would need, as a standalone, 16,670 square feet. That's what they're, you know, what they would need currently, plus a 20% growth adjustment. And if you were to do town offices as a standalone, you would have, you know, under the current facility, for the space needs, you would need 15,430 square feet, allowing for a 30% in gross adjustment. And then combining police and fire, you're gonna save a little bit on the overall facility. You would be at 25,400 square feet approximately, with a net gross of adjustment of about 28%. If you were to combine all those departments together. And then if you were to do public safety and town offices together, you're looking at a gross total estimate square footage of 40,185 square feet, with a net gross adjustment of about 28%. So these are pretty much final for the space needs assessments. There may be a little fluctuation with some of the fire department changes, with some of the admin offices and stuff, that there may be an adjustment there or two. But you know, that's pretty much the square footage. What they're going to be coming out now, and they're looking at, now starting to look at sites. Preliminary site that they were looking at was town-owned land next to the highway garage. Preliminarily, there's a significant slope in that land that is there, that is not really seen unless you go into the property. There's about a 60-foot drop in that area over there. You're going to need approximately 2.5 acres if you were to do a public safety complex, and then maybe another 2.5 acres or so if you wanted to do municipal offices, or at least have space for future development if you were to do municipal offices. There's significant questions of whether or not fire apparatus could fit up and make the turns necessary to get into that parcel that's owned by the town. So is it doable? Possibly. Would it require a ton of site work? Yes. You're talking about retaining walls. You're talking about, making sure that if apparatus can get in and out on the incline there. This is just their preliminary analysis. So, this site may be ruled out, fairly quickly, but it's not definitely ruled out as of yet. So, the board may want to think and consider other options that may be available to the town. Always keeping in mind first, town-owned land would drive costs down. There's land that is next to, on the other side of the highway garage that was looked at, briefly on Tuesday when we met. They thought that, there may be a possibility there of enough space to do something there just for a public safety complex.
It's privately owned land?
No, that's
town-owned?
Town-owned land, yep, town-owned land. And, would require some adjustments to be made with some materials that are currently stored at the highway garage, maybe adjusting that to another location or another side of the land that would need to be discussed. There would have to be possibly a discussion with the Conservation Commission
Is it
as to
wetlands?
some possible wet areas on the land. I don't know if they're classified as wetlands, but there's some wet areas on the land.
It's a watershed area.
Yeah.
The town wells.
So all this
So no
is,
go.
all
No,
this
you
is,
can do it, you can do it. You could do either side. To the side towards the cemetery, you would have to excavate a large part of that embankment. It was an old sand and gravel bank.
right here?
And they leveled it out, and to build the highway garage, you would have to dig that back a few hundred feet closer to the cemetery to level that section of ground. That sand and gravel does hold value. You could bid that out, and you could actually get money to remove that embankment. It would offset some of the cost of that site work.
So that might actually be beneficial to us. If it's sand
Yeah,
and gravel there.
It's not necessarily, it's not great material, but it does have value.
Jeremy, where on the map so where's the barn right now?
So see that little box right there? That right there basically is the highway garage. And a little circle off to that's where our fuel tank is. That entire space towards the green, going towards the cemetery, is the embankment that would have to be removed.
So, this
That whole space is
slope.
available.
But
Okay.
it's 5.5 acres.
It is 5 acres there.
And what about this here?
That is, so our salt shed is there, and then there is water. That's where all the water ponds, the catch ponds for our drainage and filtration of that property cycle through 2 different ponds and basically a levee system before it drains off to catch anything before it goes into Cummings Pond.
So there's no space
You couldn't
available?
go behind our shed, but you can go towards the
So it's
direction of the cemetery. Because then you could utilize the similar drainage areas for the runoff on that property. You would just have to expand the size of the drainage areas. That's something I've always thought was intelligent. If you look geographically, this is dead center in the town. So you're not getting more centered in the town than where we are. Again, I think, yes, it's gonna take some money to excavate that property. I wouldn't leave it a high embankment, even if you wanted to cut that down to a lower so maybe their building would be elevated above ours, but not way up, just maybe like 10, 12 feet up. So you'd have a slight slope ramp to get up to that. Plenty of frontage, obviously, that we own all the frontage all the way to the cemetery entrance, so There's no issue with access from the front. Obviously, we already have a fueling station right in the center, right between the two properties, easily to expand that to cover all of our departments for fuel and gas. Something I've wanted to do for a while anyway.
You know, we talked about doing that before.
Yeah, and that would centralize that, and it would allow us to still maybe utilize some of the property on the other side, and then in the back, for our equipment. Like I said, I have to consider another building myself, so I need room to expand. If this isn't something that we wanna do for a complex, then I'm still looking to probably remove some of that embankment so I can put up another building. If not, then I could put the building either that behind mine or to the other side if I had to. But it would certainly be, that's the largest space.
I see that excavator working on it.
Very much so.
We might buy a second one, you know. Adam, what's your thoughts?
Honestly, Jeremy did a great job of just summing that up. It's, if you look at the land, if you go to the highway site and you look, you know, to the left there towards the cemetery, you'll see, it's very clear to see how large that hill is. So it would require, I mean, that was the biggest issue that Tecton had was the concern over the site work for that area. They did, as Jim said, we did look at the site to the right of the highway barn, which is a much flatter site, but it's not that big. It's not gonna, you're not gonna ever incorporate a municipal building in there or anything. It's gonna be strictly you know, maybe have enough space for a police and fire complex. So it's doable, but it would require the current highway department to probably change some of where they're storing that stuff. So there's always that, and their site is limited. I mean, there's not a lot of space. We did walk back there, you know, he's obviously much more familiar with the site than I am, but it's all wet back there. They're all retention ponds and collection ponds and stuff, so there's nothing.
I mean, we have
can't
test
do
wells,
anything.
test wells and stuff that I have to have tested for the water district, because they require that from us, because we store different materials there. They wanna make sure our salt's not leaching into the water supply. Our different materials, millings and gravel that we use have fine particles. So we're constantly monitoring that anyway. But again, there is space to expand on that drainage area to handle, you know, more volume. Obviously, you'd have another large building. All the water that comes off the building runs into different catch basins that filter the water anyway, and then all the drainage, surface drainage runs through different collection ponds. So that's what limits your space.
So I like that you keyed on a point that maybe we can have somebody come in and basically clear the land, level it for us, and they would have rights to the material to offset the costs of doing that. You give me a look, Jim.
No, I mean, I think it's gonna be a lot of work. I don't think that there's gonna be, I just don't, preliminarily, I don't think that we would have the ability to just, you know, have an even exchange. I think that the site would require a lot more than that at this point, from what the architects had said.
It would cost more than what's there, but it will help in offsetting some of the cost. I mean, it's not like there's zero value to that. So again, would you get a better price because the material you're asking them to remove, they can make money off of? So, and there are companies that would come in and make that banking disappear in a few weeks. I mean, it's you know, how many thousands of yards of material we're talking. It's very doable as far as a construction company's concerned to remove that material. It's not a project that I think most people would shy away from that at all. So I think you'd get a lot of competitive bids on just having the property cleared and excavated to a grade that you would set with an engineer as, okay, this is what it has to be dug to. And then doing site work beyond that is all our cost.
Yeah.
So.
Jeremy, how big is your building?
I can't even remember what it is right now. Not big enough. They made the building 6 feet narrower than it was supposed to be in order to save money. And because of that, we can't keep our snow plows on our trucks and back into the building. So I
See,
think
that-
it is
yeah, we do not wanna do that with this.
No.
40, sissy, it's
Well, we
maybe
said that, it's
60
like,
by 100 or 120, I think it is, 60 by 120.
120 by 60?
Yeah, I think that's roughly what it is.
You zoom into the property card, it might tell
So-
you.
Yeah, the
Jim.
property card might tell
How big
you.
is the building? The police?
The square footage
It's
for
like-
combined
Just trying to
is,
think of 5 parking spaces.
but the square footage, it depends if we,
25,400?
50.
That's if we do a
50
single
to 60
floor?
feet
Yeah.
wide.
or a double floor.
It would have to
Single.
be.
I think it's
Single floor?
54.
Here, you may have to do a double because of different levels over there.
Right.
Well, that's what I always thought.
25,000?
25,400 square feet. Combined.
Wait, what?
So that's 3.5 highway departments.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna ask, so that, if it was a municipal complex with all three functions, right, it's 40,000 square feet, right? So that comes out to like 9/10 of an acre
Mhm.
Correct.
in just building space, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, potentially, right down here. I mean, we've got over 2 acres.
Our building drainage and parking area overlaps that, the one in the middle. The one you're clicking on towards the south there, that one is pretty much what's completely available except for the very back is part of the drainage.
Back here.
Yeah, back there.
Their building is angled at a way where it's kind of tough when they built it, and he's exactly right. I mean, to get that type of footprint, it would.
We'd have to
It would
move.
encroach upon their entrance as well as all of their storage areas for the gravel and
Stone
sand
and
and
everything,
everything
yeah.
like that. And I don't know if there's quite room on the site
Oh,
for
there you
them to
go.
move it. Yeah, so that's that middle area you're looking at, where that's that storage area. Yeah, it's, doing something with that would be tough only because of their existing layout.
So where you see the other side of the building between there and the cemetery, which we own almost all the way to the cemetery, there's quite a gap right there.
Yeah,
That's the 5 acres we own right there.
Yeah, okay.
But that's where it would take a lot more excavation to do it. But size-wise, there's plenty of room there.
Does,
I'd rather have more room than just try to cram something in there, because if later on,
Mhm.
we have to do something, if there's an expansion, you get another fire truck, we have to throw an addition on the building or something,
Yeah.
we could expand out. I'd hate to just, because then we're in that situation again where we're on a postage stamp
Yeah.
of property
You're locked in.
and we're locked in, yeah.
We did tour another property that is being looked at, or 2 properties, excuse me, that's being looked at. They're going to do some test sites there. We looked at property.
Are they
on-
town or private?
They're both town. One of them is directly behind this building with some options there to look at, and possibly looking at that property that's damaged by fire and maybe doing something with that and seeing if we can't, they're just things that were talked about that their Tecton is going to look at it, at what the square footage is in this open field in the back, and what that adjoining or property size would be, as well as there's several properties on Route 67. I think preliminarily from looking at them, they're not going to work. There's, just before you get to Warren Truck and Auto, there's several lots on the side of Route 67, but it's so wet in there.
It is
Those
very
are
wet.
conservation,
A
yeah.
lot of
Yeah, there's a
conservation
conservation
They
issues.
brought
zone.
that up there.
Right up, they're gonna look at it, but they said that it more than likely is not gonna be anything feasible to do
Well, you
anything
guys
with,
will
so.
just-
I think your most viable property is that 5 acres, but it's gonna require that site work. They made it very clear they didn't think they could fit, I mean, even if it was a possibility of looking at a municipal building added to it in the future, you would not get it on that current site where the highway department is, to the right. It would have to be where that other land was, that 5 acres, in order to have land for everything.
Yeah.
Jim, does this analysis include garage?
Oh, yeah.
And what about parking?
Yes.
Oh, so this is the whole nut right here, this,
Yeah,
okay.
that's still in the building.
What?
What's that?
Parking and circulation is not included in that.
I don't know, is,
I thought I seen parking.
I believe it's a complete package of everything,
Yes.
yes. It's 100% complete.
That's why it's so important at this point, start looking at blocks of areas,
Right.
because then it's so hard to.
Well, that's why we need to make sure we have enough and more. We don't wanna cram everything in there, because then we're gonna work ourselves, we're gonna spend all this money, and we're gonna have this spot that really doesn't work well. You know, we're just trying to make do. I do like your idea about clearing that land and selling off some material, offset the
Even if it
costs.
saves a little bit,
Yeah.
every little bit helps.
And I think it's also important that Jeremy pointed out, you don't have to bring it clear down to where his level is.
No,
It can be up.
it can be
I mean,
elevated.
You know,
just
they
don't
said
want
that
it
you couldn't
50,
bring the
60
trucks up to
feet.
where it is, but if we cut it down a little bit, then you could easily get the fire trucks and that up.
Yeah.
Well, again, there's only so much of an angle.
They were concerned that you'd have to cut it down significantly
Yeah.
there was some concern, obviously, about the trucks and the grading. You know, they don't like to see a certain grade for certain vehicles, you know,
Yeah.
so, again, they'd have to figure it out, precisely, but
Yeah.
it would require a lot of site work. But, I think that if you're looking at strictly town-owned land without having to purchase land from others and private, entities and stuff, it looks like your most viable option.
I think we gotta look at how much would it cost to purchase a piece of land that would be
Yeah.
centrally located, and that we could do that with, that we're not gonna have to do a lot of site work to, versus what it would cost us for the site work. Because it might be cheaper to do site work than to purchase land. And which one's gonna be the better, more efficient way to do it. And if we can get a return on some of the materials, something that could augment, offset the costs, but the town wasn't we were never in the business of owning property, and buying up these chunks of land or anything like that, and now we kinda need it.
Kinda short-sighted though.
Yeah.
So can you ask I don't see anything about parking.
I think it's already included in their figures. It's already built in.
So if you have an
I
office,
don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
No, it's not listed. I think it's built in.
So
to
you're
their
saying-
net area facility.
so if you have an office of one person, then that
Correct.
includes a parking space
Correct.
somewhere
No.
for one person.
It's not there.
Yeah, I would just ask them,
Okay.
and aren't we supposed to have a meeting with them soon?
Yes, we will. Yep.
Because then we can get all the questions with that. When are we gonna be doing that?
Well, we're just in the very preliminary stages of getting all of their space needs assessments done. As soon as their space, this is pretty much finalized for the space. As soon as they're done with this, then we'll go on to, some sites, and I'm sure that they'll come in at some point to make some presentations and to get some feedback from you. These are just, very in the preliminary stages for the spaces, for the actual spaces, for all the facilities.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it'd be nice, because again, if we can get all this done, per chance we're able to get, a municipal complex too. We can sell this building too.
Right.
And that's the plan. This is an older building, maybe somebody could turn into apartments or something.
Yep.
And, that would give us money to pay off some of this debt too. Because it's gonna cost us a little bit of money, a lot of money.
It's interesting, the footprint here, you could almost put another copy of this building over here
You could.
if somebody bought this.
Without parking.
Yeah.
Couldn't you put parking? Well, yeah, you're right.
See, that's
He's
what I
always
want.
about the parking.
Yeah, well, if you went with that, I mean,
What happened
somebody.
to your underground garage idea?
Yeah.
That's my idea. See, I'm really looking forward to meet with them. For example, if you turn into page 9, at the bottom of page 9, it says, in acoustics, and at the bottom it says sound, bat, insulation, and sewer partition. That's really cheap. To be an architect, I'm not gonna let that go, really. If we're looking at details like this, I'm sorry, but you are 20 years ago. Sorry, this just bothers me a lot, because it's something like it's so small detail,
Mhm.
but don't come with, you can't block the sun with your finger. Okay, so I'm looking
Well, you
forward
could
to
if you.
If it's right here.
But that's
And
only
we-
one eye.
And we need to see areas, because, how many parking spots are listed here for the police, for example?
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, because police, you typically, in a typical police department, you're gonna have a section where you're parking your personal vehicles and your cruisers, which is away from the public, so the public cannot get to those vehicles, okay? For security reasons. You're gonna have a little area for impounded vehicles that you might have to have, for evidence. You might have to take a vehicle for whatever reason. You have to have an area to be able to secure that vehicle. That's typically fenced-in area. These are areas that are special. That's why when you try to put a public safety complex in a little tiny spot with just enough land for that building, you can't do any of that stuff. You can't have that. You gotta get it somewhere else.
We
And then it's
need the
off-site,
areas.
then you gotta provide security for it, It just, we need the area, we need the space to be able to do these things and not have to worry about it again for another, we're not gonna be around by the time they need to worry about it again. I don't know, Joe might. He seems to be
Yeah, I have-
eternal.
I have small questions. I saw somewhere over there a section with 2 offices, one being 170 and the other 175. What's the point? Okay, I'm looking at little details here, they're raising my flags to, try to say, explain me that to me. 170 is not even a common denominator for 2x4, 8x6, 12x14. It's all,
Oh, I see.
okay, so that really increases cost, because then you start cutting a lot of material. So, and I wanna see areas, I wanna see, this is your building, and this is how much parking you need for that. And now we can start looking at a site, that site is too small for us, quickly, cross it.
We gotta remember, fire department needs to be able to turn around the apparatus and move
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So they need, you guys have kind of a.
You will wish like coming from behind and go out in front, kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've talked about those things. I mean, ideally, it'd be nice to have those drive-through bays specifically for those reasons. I mean, it's, to have that, an entrance on either side is ideal, so that you can, you have that flexibility.
Where's the building?
Yeah, similar to what.
Rich, can you count how many parking lots we have over here? Quickly, just for like an average number?
I can tell you exactly, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And then what, 18, 19, 20,
Those are 30 minute
21.
guest parking.
So call it
What
18.
about the back of the building?
Oh, yeah. So another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So probably call it 30-ish.
So I know this is a school, it wasn't designed for the,
No.
because depending on how many offices, how many people, that's how many cars you have plus visitors. And that we don't have yet, Like you said, officers have their personal cars and they park far away, and then we have the cruisers, and we have visits, we have, official visitors. So there should be a planning of okay, how much space do we really need? Not only inside, but outside, because the outside is almost as much space as inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice, you know, when we sit down with these guys, we can really start picking their brains and, you know, we could give our input too and what it is and what we need. It'd be nice to have, like you guys here too, so we can actually come up with a good plan that's probable for the town.
And
And the site's gonna really kind of dictate what we can do.
And you know, at some point, we should look at options like do nothing option. And I'm gonna start with crazy options, but they kind of could become legit. For example, we could look for another building for the highway, for example, and just use all that land for the new complex. But we have to look at all this, I know, you're rolling your eyes. The
Jeremy's
reason
like,
is.
wait a second, hold on.
Are we gonna
gotta
just
think.
move the salt shed too? or-
The reason is-
We're moving in.
The reason is because if we don't look at all the options that we have, someone will always come and say, did you look at this?
And we'll be like, oh, no, we didn't know.
So including the option of do nothing, pros and cons, site number 1, pros and cons, site number 2, pros and cons, and all the options like a crazy option of, oh, let's move highway over here, let's make them a building that it fits their needs, and we have all this site for the new complex. We have to look at all that options.
Yep. So, yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
We still got a lot ahead of us.
I will say that, you know, these space needs summaries reflect people's positions in the town, you know, like the chiefs, the lieutenants, the sergeants, the staff, line officers. They also reflect their cruisers and reflect, you know, possible visitors as well.
No, Jimmy, because on the fire department, they listed a big space for the, for your big trucks. That's the only one I saw, a space for that. It was in the fire department item. I could see it, there's a big a big open space,
that's-
70 feet deep,
That's the apparatus base.
and 90 feet long. That's the only space I see for,
Yeah, those are the actual bays itself that have to be built into the square footage inside the building.
exactly.
Where are
Yeah.
those? What page?
In the fire department?
Yeah, in the fire department.
It's page 1.1 on there, page 26.
26.
Oh,
Yes.
apparatus base.
Apparatus.
Yeah, that's the only line that I found that, you know, that really there's a space for a car, you know, technically speaking.
Hmm.
But I don't see, you know, how many officers are on duty, that amount of cruisers we will have outside, plus their private vehicles, plus visitors.
Yeah.
That space is not listed there. And then you put 24 feet of circulation in the parking lot, and that's a lot of space through all the parking. Same of over here, you have 2 bays of parking in the back, and then 24 feet in the middle, which is the minimum requirement by code for a 2-way parking. And now we are talking about a lot of landscape, or a lot of space.
I will check with Tecton. I believe it is included in the total square footage amounts already.
Yeah,
Please do
have
so.
them, it'd be nice to
Yeah.
have them break it out on how many
Yeah.
parking spots are required.
Sure.
For patrol, you know, for employee parking, handicap, also handicap parking, how much handicap parking we're gonna require, because that takes away from everybody else.
And even in
You
this
know,
kind
we
of
still gotta account
buildings,
for it.
fire requires to go around, you know,
Hmm?
the whole building.
The what?
On these days, even if it's a fire complex or a police, fire department requires to go around, have access with a truck, go around the whole building. So that's extra space, not that we can tuck it in a corner, just like our building, you know, you can drive around the building. You know, that's something the school is missing, you can't drive around, and
Right.
that's not good. Try to do a school like that, it's a no. You have to have fire access through
Oh,
everything.
you mean Quabog now?
Quabog doesn't have that. When it was
Right.
built, that wasn't really, triggered. It is, a few years after they did that, you can't have a school without being able to go around.
Right, because there's no exit when you get in the back.
Correct.
There's one way out.
Yeah, and the fire they do require to have
Yeah.
full
Yeah,
circulation.
that makes sense.
We saw that on the, solar arrays have access to go around
Yeah.
because of that feature, Imagine a building like this, we should have, and all that is, land around this area,
Takes up space.
takes
Yeah.
up space.
Yeah, we definitely need, because it's a good point, I don't see where they're talking about parking either, or a dedicated parking for anybody included in the facility. They have breakouts for cabinets, they have lobby space, they have storage areas, they have everything broken out, file storages, everything is detailed, but there's nothing talking about parking.
When he
For
was,
the property.
when Jim was reading it off, though, he did say, so if you had like it was a 40,000 square foot building, the requirement for a building that size must be nearly 4 to 5 acres. Well, the building itself covers 1 acre. So if it's saying it's requiring 4 to 5 acres for a 1 acre building, well, that other 3-4 acres is where they must be saying, we need all of that space for a roundabout, for different parking areas, different zones. So again, it's like, I don't think it's specific on, okay, this size building needs this many spaces, but it does say it requires acreage. So
Well,
again, if you have
Jeremy,
a.
once you get the program, you know how many people are gonna use it and how many cars we're gonna have.
Yeah.
Also, you have to plan on green areas, the water of the roof is gonna have to go somewhere to
Right. You need drainage.
you need drainage,
Absolutely.
that has a space that we cannot use as parking, we cannot use as
Yeah.
any other thing, so there's a lot of things that.
Jim, I think in the old ones, they had open space blank. They had it listed. I don't have an old one, but I remember seeing that, because I thought, oh, that's great that they're thinking of this and this, but it was separated out.
They did,
So
yeah,
Yeah.
they did identify open space.
They
Yeah.
did
Because we were
open
talking about
space
that
and,
before.
Yeah, yeah.
and
What's that?
parking in the old form, so I don't know.
Yeah,
If
I'd
they
ask
just
them
did-
where parking and open space went, so we can, again,
Yeah.
in that calculation, what do we need? Don't take away these things, because we need to know realistically how big of a footprint we need to be able to do this.
And Jamie, don't take me wrong, this is great, but it's only the inside. We cannot really look at sites without everything else that we need.
So if that is correct, if I could just for a second, and some of the older ones, those are included in there. I think that they were in there, they have, in one of the other ones for the town offices, they have parking space needs as well as that. I just think it's not listed in here currently right now.
Yeah, but I think it's incorporated in the overall square
I
footage.
believe that, I don't, we'd have to answer that question just to be sure, but in one of the original ones we got, I think this particular package was just to narrow down the square footage of of there, right? So it's certainly something they're thinking about, and they've got it, it's just not listed in here
So
specifically.
maybe like the final report is.
Just make sure
Mhm.
it's identified in there, because it's gonna help us too.
Oh, sure.
So, all right. So, think, ready to move on?
Yeah,
Think we picked this to the death?
yeah, I think so.
We're not gonna solve these problems tonight. We gotta do some more research, and again, if somebody wants to donate 10 acres of very flat land in the town,
Make it-
centrally
make it 15.
located, that would be greatly appreciated. Not on wetlands. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, number 9, acceptance of request for petty cash from the planning board. This is an anticipated vote. Mr. Farrar, what do you got?
So we have a request from the Building and Planning Department for petty cash. Building and Planning has always had petty cash. We had a changeover in staff in that department. So to continue on having access to petty cash, we have a new petty cash policy and a request form that has been filled out and is in front of the board this evening.
Okay. And all this is not changing anything other than changing who's handling it now?
Who's the
and
new custodian of
the
them?
new custodian of it,
Yep.
so.
Okay, so the amount is $100?
Right, is it?
It's not written in.
Okay. Needs to be written in, yep.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the request for petty cash and changing the custodian for the planning board.
Second.
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Okay. Okay.
Good night.
Have fun with your new toy.
Yeah.
Next thing is a public hearing on the following liquor license renewal applications with anticipated votes. Okay, let's just go right down. You wanna go down the line and vote? Well, we have to vote individually, right?
Individually.
All right, Warren One Stop, 958 Main Street, Warren, Mass.
Make a motion to approve the liquor license renewal for B&P Liquors, Inc., DBA Warren One Stop Market.
Second.
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Warren Package Store, 942 Main Street, Warren.
Make a motion to approve the liquor license renewal for Shivrajian Inc., DBA Warren Package Store.
Second.
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. Motion passes unanimously. Glenda's Pub, 948 Main Street, Warren.
Okay, before I do this motion, are there any issues with these properties? Are all taxes paid? Are all,
So, I mean, this is a
Fees
public
paid?
hearing, so anybody, if they have a, question or concern about any of these renewals, they can state it at the hearing, and then, I don't know, Karen, if you want to check on if you want to report on the taxes?
All taxes are paid in full except for Village Market, and she is coming in on Monday to pay those in full. But
Okay.
she is back to 2023.
okay. All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the liquor license renewal for Glenda's Enterprises LLC, DBA Glenda's Pub.
Second.
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Make a motion to approve the liquor license renewal for J&K Enterprises LLC,
Let
DBA.
me read it first.
Huh? Oh.
Sorry.
I'm on a roll.
Next one, Whiskey Hill Liquors, you messed me up now.
Sorry.
Whiskey Hill Liquors, 2370 Main Street, Warren.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the liquor license renewal for J&K Enterprises LLC, DBA Whiskey Hill Liquors.
Second.
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Next one, St. Stanis, 144 South Street, Warren.
Make a motion to approve the liquor license renewal for St. Stanislaus Society of West Warren.
Second.
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Quabog Erie, number 4133, Fraternal Order of Eagles, Inc., 2167 Main Street, West Warren.
I'll make a motion to approve the liquor license renewal for the Quabog Erie number 4133 Fraternal Order of Eagles, Inc.
Second.
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Countryside Pub at 83 Mechanic Street, Warren.
Make a motion to approve the liquor license renewal for AMR Enterprises LLC, DBA Countryside Pub.
Second.
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Country Corner Sitco, 961 Main Street, Warren.
Make a motion to approve the liquor license renewal for Country Corner Sitco Inc.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. And Village Market, 2240 Main Street, West Warren. They do have an outstanding debt to the town still.
I make a motion to table this until next meeting,
Okay.
and we'll see where they're at.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. Village Market is being tabled to next meeting for a vote pending the payment.
Okay. Just realize that on the 30th, I have to have these mailed in too.
Yeah, next meet, next meet,
You can do it at the annual.
It's the 30th.
Oh,
But I agree, I think that you did the right thing, but I'm just saying that that's,
so this is this,
it's a special.
well, can we schedule a one-item meeting at like 6 o'clock on next Thursday? Or 6:20? Right before, our get-together before is gonna be at 6:30. Right?
Yeah, but that's kind of cutting close.
well, if you're just doing
We
that.
can approve this pending payment.
Okay.
We can approve it pending payment. If she doesn't pay, she doesn't get it.
Correct.
We have to sign it
No,
before it becomes official.
well, yes,
Okay,
Okay.
we won't sign it then until, right?
Yeah. We can sign it once the check is done.
Okay.
And then we could sign it, you know, it'll be on the desk, but we'll hold this one. We'll approve it tonight pending payment, and then we can sign it during the week. We can come in individually and sign it.
Okay.
or you can just sign it before the 30th.
Well, it's gonna be before the 30th, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's all, I just need it signed before the 30th.
It'll be before the
Okay.
30th, depending
What I'm
on if she
saying-
pays.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that you don't have to make a special trip in. Just when you come in to sign the warrants, you could sign
Yeah.
that paperwork.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
so I'll make a motion to approve the liquor license renewal for AG&J LLC DBA Village Market pending the payment of, what are they?
Back taxes.
Back taxes.
Second,
Okay. All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. And all are approved, except for Village Market pending the payment, and then we'll sign. Okay.
So, speaking of statistics, so do we have like about 8 liquor license, 2 pizzas, 2 post office, 2 libraries in town? My point is, I would like to know, what's the average liquor license on other towns around here? Are we like over the top?
The liquor license, we could have more restaurants, because we have up to 15 license available for restaurants and liquor. We cannot have any more full liquor license package stores because of the population in town. That's how the state decides it, so we can
So
only
there's a
have
cap?
2. There is a cap. Malt and wine, we can have 4 more. And it's all geared on our population of the town. Restaurants, though, it's wide open. If somebody wants to do a restaurant, they can have full liquor licenses. So,
We need more restaurants.
Mm-hmm, yep.
So like Mass Appeal could get one,
Oh, yeah.
or
oh yeah, easily.
Masons, right? Okay.
Masons? Did you say Masons?
Yeah, what did I?
Well, they serve breakfast and.
Well, I mean, if they.
A
yeah, but they
mimosa,
did-
a mimosa with your,
Well,
your
yeah.
eggs.
I mean, they did do dinner for a while, like on
They did.
Fridays.
Yeah. All right. All right, well, moving on. Discussion on accepting the hours for Diane Hoyler for the senior tax work-off abatement, anticipated vote. Was there a question about this, and will we resolve that? Is there issues with this one?
There, you need to accept this, and this is what happened. When I gave the.
Well, we don't need to accept anything.
Okay. When I gave the assessors the list of who was approved, they went ahead and sent her the check for last year's, not this year's, but they only sent her $500. So going back and doing some research, she should not have gotten that $500. She should have gotten the $750 off of the taxes that are going out in January, the third quarter of this year. So what the assessors are suggesting is you guys accept her hours, because she did do the work, for the $750, for the $15. And then they will send her another check for $250, which makes the $750.
Yeah, but it's supposed to come off her taxes,
Right,
not
be-
cash.
right.
That's-
I understand
So
all
why
that.
do-
Yeah, why are we sending checks?
Well,
Yeah, that's, so
okay,
why don't we
the
get?
reason is, when they, last January, we didn't have an assessor. They didn't take it off their taxes. They were owed it to two people last year. So when I sent them the list of this year, they thought it was last year's, so they gave it to this person, which they shouldn't have.
So where is this money coming out of? Because if they're
Yeah.
paying a check, we're paying them money.
That come out of an
Where's that
expense
account-
line or something.
Yeah,
It's
what-
coming out of the assessor's abatement line.
Can we do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, some of these, because, the state doesn't, is not required, you're not required to pay taxes on this, but the federal government, would require you to pay taxes on this. So, the person's got to pay taxes on it, so theoretically, I guess they should be getting a check.
What
Right
if
now,
they don't
I'm really
use the check for
confused.
that then?
What's that?
What if they don't use the check for that?
Well, I mean, that's what they get. They get like a payment for
So-
their
Wait,
hours.
So you're
So-
saying that they shouldn't get it off their taxes, off their tax bill, they should get cash?
No, okay, the current ones, how it works is we've learned, right, that it's supposed to go through payroll. They have to pay federal taxes on their abatement. So there's, out of the $750 that we're giving them, they're taking the federal taxes out. They're not getting a check for the difference. The difference is getting taken off of their taxes for this year. Last year, because of the screw up in the assessor's office of not having an assessor and having someone come in and all that stuff, they didn't take it off the taxes. They were owed the $500. They didn't take it off the taxes. So the assessors wrote them a check because they were supposed to take it off the last year's taxes. This person worked for this year. So the $750 was supposed to come out of the taxes bill in January.
But we sent her a check for $500.
But we sent her a check for $500 because the note that was given to them said they are approved to do the workers, not that they had done it. So it was a misunderstanding.
Yeah, but we didn't approve the hours yet. How did she get a
Correct.
check for $500 already?
Correct.
it's not
That was
approved.
always my question, but I don't know, but it happened. So now we are trying to straighten it out.
Can we get the $500 back?
We probably could. The assessor said it would cause more of a hassle, so I don't know.
I would.
So
say-
I think, to be
So-
honest, let's table this and have the assessors come in here and explain it to us, why this happened.
And how do we, yeah.
So, because it's
It's very confusing.
Well, it was
we
very
gave her a
confusing.
check for $500 before we even reviewed her hours and approved her. But yet, she wasn't supposed to get $500, she was supposed to get $750, and it was supposed to be taken off of her,
January, this January.
off of her taxes.
Yeah.
But when did she get the check for
Mhm.
$500?
Month ago?
Believe so, I believe so, yeah,
So they gave her a check before we even approved her hours.
yeah.
I think the best way to do it is get the 500, ask her to give us the 500
Well,
back,
we
reverse the
can't-
transaction.
We can't do that in this meeting right now.
Well, okay, but I'm just saying,
I think our
and then
best,
do it right.
I think our best thing to do right now is table this one, get the assessors in here,
Okay.
and we'll talk with them about it and figure it out.
Okay.
Because, yeah,
So,
you shouldn't be writing a check until they've actually done the program, finalized it, and we've said yes, and we've approved it to move forward.
See, I think that the confusion was, they saw that you approved them doing the program, and they just, and then, because she was on the list with the other two people that had done the program the previous year, they just assumed it was done.
No, we approved doing the senior work-off
Correct.
program. We
In
didn't
general.
approve the.
Correct.
The hours.
yeah.
Correct.
So back up a sec. Let's say I'm in the program. What am I supposed to get if I complete it? Do I get my tax bill reduced, or do I get cash of $750?
You get your tax bill reduced,
Okay, then that's.
minus what the federal taxes are.
Okay, so say it's $50 in federal taxes.
Then you would get $700 off your tax bill.
That is what, okay. I think,
That is
Okay.
what it is.
all right. Bec-
Yeah,
Because
let's-
of that fact, I feel like it should be reversed and done properly, because,
Yeah, but we can't, that's not on the agenda.
I know, but I'm just, that is my thought.
So,
Because we're talking like now federal taxes and, yeah.
yeah, let's get the assessors in here and explain what's going on and work it out with them in a meeting. Because, yeah, this doesn't make sense how this happened, and
Well, it was,
we
yeah.
have
it was
established
very
what we do for every one of these residents that do this. And nothing, they don't get the program done, it's not completed until they've completed their 50 hours. And
She completed this before Betty Jo even came.
there's no signature on the paperwork saying that signature of person certifying work.
Correct.
And that's the assessors, why didn't they sign their own?
Because they didn't have that paper, when she completed the work, they didn't, that certification paperwork was not available. They didn't do it.
Oh, because this is.
I
some-
created the form.
This is a new form from
Yeah.
Jim.
Okay.
So I created the form tonight. I didn't have, they weren't here to have them sign it, but I created the form tonight so that you would see that she actually did do her hours.
Okay, I like the form, I like the fact that they added up the hours, and you're gonna have somebody that verified them signing it, and it's all tabulated up. Okay, I like the form.
So, once this is done, we may need just an email to go out and just say, here's how the program works.
Well,
Here's the
everybody's
steps.
on board now. This was a fluke. This was the weirdest thing.
I did send an email out to all
Yeah.
departments
Okay,
about
so
this
they
already.
all-
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
everybody's on board now. We're all good.
Okay, all right.
This was a fluke. And I think the flukes started because she was done with all of her hours in the middle of February.
Mhm.
So everybody just goes, oh, okay, she did it for last year,
Okay.
when she didn't.
Okay.
And at that point, was it the previous set of assessors? Assessor has
We were
changed.
nobody. There was nobody there. That's why she worked in the assessor's office. She went in there to answer the phone
There were
because
no
we
board
didn't have it.
members?
Well, they were board members, but there wasn't
Yeah,
any,
there's no
there wasn't an assessor.
We didn't-
Deanna had left and Betty Jo wasn't hired yet.
Okay.
So so it was just a major confusion and a slip through.
Okay, let's table it to next meeting. Are you good with that?
Yes,
What's
sir,
your
I'm good.
thoughts?
Table.
Okay. Get the assessors in here, have them explain it, and
Got
we'll
it.
table it till next meeting. Yes, sir.
Just a.
Just identify yourself before.
Ray Capaco.
Yeah.
Does the town issue W-2s then to these people?
Most of the senior work, except for this particular one, does other work that they get paid for. Both of the other senior people work for the town clerk on elections, so they automatically get W-2s from the town,
Will they get a W-2 or a 1099?
W-2s. It goes through payroll.
Yeah, 1099 is payroll too, but it's a non-employee contract, you know, like a contract worker, which
I don't know.
these people could be if they don't work for.
Whatever the right form is, they get something showing.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
The amount of, the value of that abatement,
They do,
so they can file their taxes properly.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
They
because
do,
it's
and-
considered earned
Income.
income.
They
Under the federal
actually, from
government's
the
eyes.
federal, not from the state.
Not from the state.
And it actually says that on the form that they sign, when they sign up, that they are responsible.
Right. Anything else, Rick? You guys good?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Moving on. All right, next thing, discussion on the Warren West Brookfield Youth Football, $500 request, anticipated vote.
Wait, number 12.
Hey, you skipped one.
Oh, skip.
Recording
TV.
policy.
Yep, review and discuss the draft order allowing Warren Community Access Television permission to broadcast and record any town meetings that are open to the public. Okay, Mr. Ferrari, you got that?
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before you this evening, as you had requested at the last meeting that a simple policy be put into place that goes along with the memo from me regarding recording of meetings, public meetings in town. This policy addresses all public bodies in town. The purpose is to inform all members of boards, commissions, and committees that every public body in town must follow Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, as well as all the provisions under the Massachusetts Open Meeting Law. It is the town's goal to provide residents with the information they need to make informed decisions on the local level and help to educate the public on all matters in town. The policy is very simple. All boards, commissions, committees must follow Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, as well as complying with all provisions under the Massachusetts Open Meeting Law. It is also the town's policy to allow the town's public access channel, WCAT, to record and broadcast any public meetings of the town.
Any questions?
No, it's good.
And we can send that out,
Mr. Belize?
tomorrow.
I see no problem. I like it. On the side, can you just open the spaces a little bit on the
Sure,
front?
yeah.
It looks like that. Read the small text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good. Good,
Mhm.
all right. It's about time. Thank you very much.
Yep.
You gonna send it out to everybody now?
Yes.
All right, next thing is,
Can you vote on the policy to adopt it?
we can vote on it.
We don't have a,
You didn't put anticipated vote on there, did that put on the article?
nope.
Yep.
Not on the warrant.
Was it posted?
How was it?
That's a
Yes,
good-
it is posted, it's posted on the thing, so. I
Okay.
mean, you can,
It's just not written on.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept, wait a minute, what is it? The Town of Warren Recording of Public Meetings Policy.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously and the policy is adopted. Okay. Good?
Very good.
All right. So next thing on the agenda, discussion. Not really right. Discuss the Warren West Brookfield Youth Football $500 request, anticipated vote. Okay. So Dennis is requesting the release of the $500 to pay for equipment
Mhm.
and uniforms for 2023. All right.
Why is it,
And good.
why is it an item? They used to just come and get the check, because each team has $500.
We have to approve giving it to them. You guys have to approve giving it to them. They have to prove that they've spent it on the Warren Youth, and then you have to approve it, and then they get the check.
Okay. Oh, that's good, but
Yeah.
we never did that before, or it never was done.
Well, you're
before.
talking about they used to actually have people come in and we would do that. Yeah. Again, football's over, cheer's over, you know.
Two more games for the football guys at the high school.
Well, that's high school. And it's almost 8:30 at night, so, you know, having the little kids in here, it's probably gonna be difficult, so. It's always nice to see them though, so. Any other questions, sir?
No?
Do you have any questions?
No.
I'm
Yep.
I'm very glad that the town gives this money to these institutions, because they really need it.
Absolutely. Good.
All right, I'll make a motion to reimburse Warren West Brookfield Youth Football for $500.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously, and release the money. Okay, warrants and bills.
Make a motion to pay the following warrants. Payroll number 20, $50,443.53. Vendor number 23, $99,089.09.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Bills.
Make a motion to pay the following bills. WB Mason, $312.78. 360 Building and Remodeling, $33,400. C2MA Adams, $1,496.62. The Phone Cleaning Service, $1,350. Garaventa USA, $1,500. American Tower, $2,200. Van Pool, $5,093.55.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Okay, next thing on the agenda is minutes. We have none, right?
No
No.
minutes?
All right.
Everything is recorded.
And town administrator report.
Thank you,
You're
Mr.
up, sir.
Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. So I just want to report on a couple things from our last meeting last week to this week. As the board is made aware, Tecton did come out this Tuesday, met with myself, Chief Millette, and Adam Lavoy. We had a pretty good meeting there. I also had this week a department head meeting on Wednesday, gearing up for the STM, and letting all departments know that, to be ready for their articles and to be prepared to defend their articles. I also informed them that any request of staff would need to be made in writing to the board, and that the board would be reviewing them tonight. We also talked about trainings that would be upcoming that we're going to be looking to do, some customer service training, as well as keeping tabs with cybersecurity as an important monthly training that comes out every month. I was also notified this week, as of yesterday, a grant I had submitted a few weeks ago through Risk Management, Maya, was approved. Okay, the town got $5,000 grant for cyber risk prevention assessments for firewalls at our highway, senior center, and sewer departments. Those currently are not protected. Those have been identified in the past as areas of concern. The risk management grant this year was focusing in on cybersecurity as a very important matter that municipalities should be addressing, and this is critically important for Maya, and we were very fortunate to get a grant on that. And it is a competitive grant this year. They have most of the funds have already been used up by other communities. We were very fortunate to get this grant, and I also wanted to report to the board that we are in the process of getting and compiling our budget calendar. That's going to be going out in the next few weeks. We'll have a draft for you at the next meeting. There'll be some dates there after conferring with the FinCom on some of the dates and looking at where we are. We're going to have to make a slight adjustment for our annual is pushed back to June this year. So we're going to make some slight adjustments on the calendar because of that. You'll have a draft before it goes out to look at and to review. We also will be setting up to go out drafts for our next meeting for the position of a town accountant and updates to the sewer operator plant position as well. Those drafts will be in front of you for updates at our next meeting. My goal is to get those out and posted by mid-December, with the hope that we have it at least for the town accountant's position posted for at least 30 days. So that would take us until January 15th, so that if people are not looking at positions around the holidays, they tend to start looking at positions right after the new year to make a shift. So it still gives people 15 days to a couple weeks after the new year to look at that position. Those will be posted. We also will be drafting up a notice for capital planning and doing trying to get some recruitment going on capital planning. So if anybody's interested in serving in capital planning, please contact the moderator. Set a letter of interest to him, Dario Nardi, and he'll be reviewing those. We're going to set something up and post that on the website as well, like we did for FinCom. We are also working on, I put together a committee to review RFPs for our EDA grant. The committee is comprised of myself, the tax collector, the treasurer, the town accountant, and a member of the planning board, Ed Londigan. So it's a 5-member committee. We are meeting on Monday. We have 2 submitted proposals, one from Weston and Sampson and the other from Langen and Callur. Both are competing proposals. We gave every committee member a copy of the technical proposal to review, to make notes, to rate the proposals. We will look at that on Monday, and then we will then look at the price. So we'll look at the technical proposals first, they'll be evaluated and rated, and then priced. And so we're hoping to get that done on Monday. So, and bring something back before the board. We're very pleased with, the senior center project that wrapped up. I'm currently working on getting wrapped up some of the steps that are done at the sewer plant. That should be wrapping up hopefully by next week. Once the concrete steps have finally cured, and the handrail can be put back into place, that will be wrapped up. Again, I'm going to be, I've already reached out to our building commissioner, BJ Church. I required both projects, required the senior center and the wastewater treatment plant require permits. I told the contractors to go get those permits, and I'm going to be asking the building commissioner to inspect both facilities and sign off on those, so that a proper inspection can be done on both. I'll be meeting with her on Monday. I believe she'll be in.
Anything else, sir?
Other than that, not at this point, no.
No? Did you have any questions?
Just with the senior center, if they want to move that shed, have BJ make sure, just touch base on setbacks and what the
How
situation
big is the
is.
shed?
What?
How big is the shed?
Probably 8 by 8.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say.
If it's less than 150 square feet, it doesn't matter. Can go all the way to the edge of the property line.
Oh, see, that's what we needed to know.
It's in the
Okay.
code. Also, make sure the call for the inspection comes from the contractors, not you. It's the proper way that the contractor asks for the inspection, not the client.
So, yeah, the shed, be great to get that moved too. Anything else?
Good.
You got anything?
Good job, Jimmy.
Thank you.
All right, so new business, anybody have any new business?
No.
No, sir?
Old business? Anybody have any old business?
No.
We spoke once about signs for the town. Is that kind of like an old business?
What kind of sign?
Welcome to Warren.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if I can offer to come out with a couple of the signs to bring on the table for discussion.
Yeah.
At least to have something,
Yeah.
So like banners from
No,
poles or
no,
just
like-
like?
No, signs,
Mm,
formal
got it.
signs that says welcome to Warren.
Okay,
Like the one that they just replaced on Maple.
okay.
Did you see that? It looks really good, yeah.
Oh, does it?
No, now
Yeah.
that it's dark, I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, no, it looks really good.
Hmm.
They did a good job.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay.
You wanna do
Talk about it
design?
in a bit.
Huh?
I'll talk about it in a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll come up with a couple of designs just to start the conversation, you know. There are a lot of things that we talk here that sometimes they get loose, and so that at least is gonna bring it back a little bit to the conversation.
Yeah?
All right. So nobody else has any old business. Correspondence, we get an email from individual asking questions about brownfield sites in Warren, and asking about that. And we're looking into that for her. Then we have an email from, is it National Grid, preparations ahead of winter. If you can make sure that's on the website, is it already up there?
Not yet.
Yeah.
I just got it today.
Yeah, just let them know, put it on the website for people to be able to see. And they're just talking about preparing for basically the weather. I think if you're from New England, we all know what's coming. And there's gonna be a lot of shoveling, snow blowing and plowing. And I think they're predicting that it's supposed to be a lot of snow this year.
Later start to winter.
Later start?
I think you'll find more snow in January and February than before Christmas.
In time for ski season.
Mhm. Yeah. No surprise Halloween blizzards.
Since it's over.
That's over.
Looks quite tranquil for the next couple, 3-4 weeks.
No Thanksgiving blizzard, that's what it is.
After Thanksgiving, I'm good with it,
Mm.
you know? All right. So, prepare for winter, it's coming. Comments and concerns?
Mr. Chairman, I did receive a
Oh,
phone
you
call.
do?
Phone call from Sue Ramsey from Parks.
Oh.
She had indicated that she wanted the board to discuss about, they're gonna be having their tree lighting ceremony.
Mhm.
And she wanted to see if she could, if the board felt it would be appropriate and if it would be okay to set up some tables for some vendors inside of Town Hall. She wanted to see if, if that would be possible. There would be a requirement for insurance purposes. There are outside vendors inside town buildings that would have to be met. And I think the chief would have to clear out some of the stuff that's in that area in order for them to set up the tables. And then somebody would have to monitor to make sure that nobody went upstairs.
Well, the bathrooms are upstairs, they have to go upstairs.
Town hall?
No.
Oh, you're talking about the old town hall?
Right.
Oh, cause I was wondering, like, why would they come here if they were downtown?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
get it.
Inside, they wanna go inside?
Right. They're looking
Where?
for, in the lobby, in the vestibule.
Oh, okay.
Right where the stairs are going up?
Yeah, inside those, right in front of those double doors and open
There's
the
no
double
bathrooms.
doors. I know.
Yeah, cause they'd have to go to the police department.
They have to go to the police department. She said, yeah.
Well, I mean, the whole thing doesn't have bathrooms, so, I mean, the event, right, doesn't have bathrooms, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but if you have vendors there that are hanging out, I don't feel comfortable with it.
Okay.
Because the police department's there.
I'd rather have like a no from the insurance point of view instead
Well,
of.
the insurance said that, you could have vendors within your, town facility, but they would be required to get insurance.
That might be a non-starter right
Yeah, I'm a no on it.
Okay. All right.
You know, to be honest, because there's a lot of issues with the building, and we can't say there's a lot of issues with the building and say, oh, public, come on in.
there.
It's
Mhm.
against what we've been saying, because we don't want a lot of activity in that building. We get ceilings falling down, plaster falling off ceilings, and there's no bathroom for them to use without going through the police department. And I just don't feel comfortable with that building
Okay.
What about?
anywhere else.
What about some tents, rent some tents and do it in the common?
Yeah, I think that's what they did last year,
Yeah.
right?
It worked really well in the common,
Yeah.
in the tents in the common and stuff.
Maybe on the parking lot if they need more of a hard surface, but,
Well,
So
you
she'd
gotta
like
remember,
to-
we don't own a lot of that parking lot either.
yeah, yeah.
There's only a few spaces we have, so. I think having it, because it went well last year. It was a really nice tree lighting and everything. The old town hall, I would, I don't know if you guys feel different. I
No,
don't
I'm
feel
fine with
comfortable
it.
with it.
Yeah, I mean, is it even cleaned up? Is it, there's a lot of, like, what condition is it in inside?
Not the best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It might be easier to ask for the new owner of the bank.
Is
I-
there a new
I-
owner?
I don't know, I just said new
The
owner
current-
because
Oh, no,
somebody.
the current owner.
The current.
Yeah.
I know she asked the train people, she's told me she was gonna ask the train people, and then she said that didn't pan out, so I don't know if she asked them or not.
I've been hearing a lot of people talk on Facebook that they would like us to buy the train station.
Or for the
People were-
Parks Department?
People were talking about activity center and things like that.
Are they willing to pay that price?
I think if we put an article up, not the price now,
It's way overpriced.
way overpriced.
But maybe they can have an open house that day so they can put vendors in there.
Hmm. Be a good way to
Well, it's-
showcase the building.
Yeah.
It's a new real estate company too, right? I think the sign changed.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, it's a new real estate.
I know it changed location, I didn't notice that it was a different.
Yeah, because it used to be a woman's picture and stuff, now I think it's a new company. So, yeah, but a no on the building.
Okay, I'll let her know.
Yeah, it's just not safe.
Yeah, the safety is what worries me about, one kid running, scooching in, and something
Yeah,
happens, we're screwed
There's-
up.
There's no restroom there's no public restroom for them to use, for the vendors. And God forbid something falls off a ceiling in there and lands on somebody. And that's because the vendors, they're gonna have the public in there, the public's gonna be walking in there. So, usually we give Sue whatever she wants, but no on that one. So any other correspondence? No? Did you guys get any correspondence?
Did not, no.
No, sir.
No? Comments and concerns? Do you have any comments and concerns?
I do not.
Me neither.
You guys look good tonight, by the way. Nice dress up shirts and, right?
You didn't get the memo?
I didn't get the memo. No? Did that go through you?
No, no.
Yeah.
No, they would have been blue, well, his is blue.
Yeah. I'm off the memo today.
At least you did the right color, though. It's supposed to be, blue, green, red.
I always wear green.
Yeah, you do.
No, you wear blue. I wear green.
Yeah.
I don't go well with blue. I'm a green kind of guy. Did we get any?
I have a concern. I may not be able to make it on the 30th.
Okay.
I will confirm next week.
Okay. Easy enough. As long as we have two.
Yep.
I have a business appointment in another town, far away from here, so I won't make it on time.
Did you have any comments, Mr.?
We're gonna be obviously planning, at some point, a tax classification hearing. Whether that be before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving, we're still waiting on some, forms to be, approved by the Department of Revenue, from the assessors. So as soon as we get those forms approved from the Department of Revenue, they're gonna signal, and let me know when they're ready and they're be prepared to do a hearing.
Anything else? No. Anybody from the public have any comments or concerns? Mr. Conrad, how you doing, sir?
Joe Conrad, Board of Health. Well,